All right, let's use my journalism degree to good use. All right, just ice the kicker. 40-yard attempt, 30 seconds to go. Boswell looking good. Here's a snap. Here's the kick. Right down the pipe. Right down the pipe, Pittsburgh. Right down the pipe. We love seeing the Bears lose. 26 seconds, though. Still got a little time. But I tweeted this out. That's why you have Big Ben. That's why he's a Hall of Famer. Too much time left on the clock. I'm sure nothing's going to happen in 26 seconds. I'm sure of it. Let's get to the show. To another Detroit Pierce podcast. I'm back, better than ever, looking good. Just got back from Arkansas. That's why I'm doing the Monday podcast going into Tuesday. Obviously, as you know from the cold open, that the Monday night game is just ending right now. We got 26 seconds left. Justin Fields just took the snap, taking his time. Nice little dump pass. Nice job, Justin Fields. You look terrible. Just got back from Arkansas, and I'm going to be doing a Tuesday. I guess you're going to listen/watch this on Tuesday. We're going to Auburn next week, so we're going to have the same schedule. Vlog should be coming out Wednesday for the Arkansas game. Went to the game, fun. I'll probably talk about that a little bit later. I got the Arkansas hat on right now. I got the Arkansas hat, and I got the Michigan State basketball T-shirt. I'm sure that it'll all make sense by the end of the show. But the vlog should be coming out on Wednesday. Fun game. If you haven't seen the highlights, you should go watch it. It was amazing. A little dump pass Montgomery. A couple points for your fantasy owners, but a flag on the play. But it was a great game. Watch the highlights. Watch the vlog. Mississippi State doesn't have a good kicker. In short, Mississippi State just flat out doesn't have a good kicker, to be honest with you. All right, but that's not why you come to this weekend. You know, that's not why you come to this podcast. You come to this podcast for good takes, bad takes, Detroit takes, all the takes. So, first off, we'll start off the podcast by saying, thank God it was a Lions bye week, because I haven't had a good weekend of Detroit Lions football in a long time. I think it's been since draft night. Was that the last time that I was happy about the Detroit Lions? God, that's a long time ago. But yeah, I guess that would have to be draft night. Draft night was the last time I was happy. So I was really happy that they didn't screw up this week. They didn't lose the bye week. Dan Campbell still has a little bit of hope left, which is kind of funny. And I saw the headline that there are a couple Lions players that think that if they get OBJ, if they get Odell Beckham Jr., that they think they can make the playoffs. Look, I'm crazy. I'm a crazy person. I'll admit it. I'm a crazy person. But that crazy to think that we're going to make the playoffs if we sign Odell Beckham Jr.? I don't think I'm that crazy. I tweeted it out. I was like, do you think that the Lions should get Odell Beckham Jr.? Let's just say the fan base is very against it. Very against it. I'm sorry. I'm watching the Bears. There's 4 seconds left. Justin Fields looks good. If he could just get a good coach, I think that he could be a great player. I really do. I think he could be a really good player. And I said that. I think he was I think he was the best quarterback in that draft class. Better than Trevor Lawrence. I really think that. But yeah, Odell Beckham Jr. to the Lions, I've heard whispers about it. Do I think he could impact the team? Yes. Do I think that impact would be negative? 100,000%. 100,000% that would be a bad pickup. Well, what are you going to get out of him? I mean, that's the whole point I'm trying to get at. Like, what are you going to get? One win out of him? I don't even think you get that. I really don't. 4 seconds left. Oh, nice. Batted ball. 2 seconds left on the clock. I don't even think you get one win out of Odell Beckham Jr. People who think that Odell Beckham Jr. to the Lions makes sense, I don't let anybody have him. Literally let anybody have him. The only place where I feel like Odell Beckham Jr. would be a good fit, and I'm telling you, I know I've gotten this comment a ton. I love one team and one team only this year outside of the Lions, and it's the Indianapolis Colts. And I think if Odell Beckham Jr. went to the Colts, I think they would not win the Super Bowl, not that crazy, but I think they would easily make the playoffs. Okay, well, Santos is about to kick a 65-yard field goal with 2 seconds left. Tomlin's got to ice him. Here we go. We're going to live Santos. Little hop step. It's straight on, is it? Got enough leg? Not even close. That wasn't even close. That's all right. If you're a Bears fan, you kind of knew that was happening, right? 65. That's why you get the journalism degree. Thank you, my parents, for helping me not pay for that, because I'm going to be paying that till I'm 65 years old. Journalism degree, right then and there. You love to see it. But yeah, back to my point. Odell Beckham Jr., the only team that I think that he actually makes a positive impact is maybe the Colts. Other than that, I don't think he really makes a positive impact anywhere. All right, let's give a quick rundown on the games this weekend. Let's see. How did I do on my predictions? For the NFL, I did really well. I went 7-2, I believe. 6-2. Yesterday, I went 6-2 on my picks. Really well. I thought that the Browns, Bengals, everybody was picking the Bengals. It was too obvious because of the Odell Beckham stuff. They've always played better without Odell Beckham. I missed on the Cowboys by a ton. Before I was telling everybody, I think the Cowboys could be a playoff team. Not a playoff team, but NFC championship type team, could make it to the Super Bowl. They have that offense. If they could figure out the defense, my hair is everywhere. If they could figure out the defense, I think they could really make a run at the Super Bowl. Yeah, no, they're done. They're done. I think they clearly made the statement this week that they are not a Super Bowl team. A team that really surprised me, if I'm going to be honest with you, Patriots. I thought that they were going to get beat by the Panthers, or the Panthers were going to come close. Jaguars obviously beating the Bills. That's huge. The Bills, they could win the AFC. They could win the Bills could win the AFC this year, and for them to not beat the Jags, especially because they have such an easy schedule coming up. Other than that, honestly, no surprises other than Jackson Mahomes. You know, without Aaron Rodgers, that was not that terribly surprising. Do I think so here's my take on Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, right? The Packer fans drive me crazy. And this is the sole reason why I hate Green Bay and hate Aaron Rodgers. It's not because of the organization. It's not because of Aaron Rodgers himself. It's because the fans are absolutely crazy. They don't understand what it's like to have a bad quarterback. And I got text messages, tweets, DMs, Facebook updates, Facebook messages from all my Packer friends, and it's all the same crap. It's all, Jordan Love sucks. Jordan Love is the worst. Blah, 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 blah. Jordan Love needs to be benched. I can't believe we wasted a first round. Guys, it's one game against the Kansas City Chiefs on the road. I mean, and he still was 19 for 34 with 190 yards. I mean, he's still not a terrible. He's not terrible. It's his first game. Give a man a break. I mean, I don't mean to. I hope Jordan Love fails miserably. But, I mean, give the kid a freaking break. Just because he's not Joe Montana doesn't mean he's terrible. Oh, he's underthrowing his passes. It's game one. Relax. Not surprising. I've had this. This was surprising. I've had this take for a while, and I've been getting crapped on lately. I love Kyle Shanahan. He's my favorite coach in the NFL. I think he's the most underrated coach. But I think that there is a chance that he could be the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions next year. And I would love that immensely. If Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator next year. And for him to lose to the Cardinals the way that they did, and especially since the Cardinals didn't have anybody on their team, it feels like it's going to be tough to keep him around. And I hope he gets fired, because I hope he comes to Detroit, and I hope he's the offensive coordinator for us. A game that everybody was surprised about, but as a gambler, I was not. Tennessee versus the Rams. I've bet against Tennessee, I think 4 times this year, and I've lost every single one. I think that's a stat. Don't bet against Tennessee. I don't care that Derrick Henry's out. I don't know what I don't know what Vrabel does over there. I don't know what Ryan Tannehill's doing, but golly gee, they know what they're doing over there. They know what they're doing. I'm telling you. That was the quick rundown of the NFL. But let me tell you something. Don't bet against the Titans. I hate the Titans. I think they're terrible. And so does everybody else in America. Everybody else thinks they're frauds. Everybody's on with me. Fraud. For some reason, they figure it out. I don't know how, but they still figure it out. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right. Before we talk about NCAA football, let's break it up a little bit. Let's talk about European Minute starting in 3, 2, 1. European Minute. All right. First off, I usually start off with F1, especially after F1 weekend. I'm going to start off with Tottenham. I hate Tottenham. I'm a Chelsea fan, diehard Chelsea fan, but I will say this. Tottenham signing Antonio Conte. My favorite manager of all time, minus Jose Mourinho. With them signing Conte, Tottenham's going to make top 4. If I'm a Tottenham fan, or if you have a Tottenham fan in your life, I would tell them to be extremely, extremely excited because they're about to be really good. F1 in Mexico City. This is the problem with the modern day F1 is that the races are absolutely ridiculous. For them to be lapping all the way to the 4th place is absolutely ridiculous. Max Verstappen clearly taking the next step to winning the Drivers' Championship. Now can Red Bull win the Constructors? That remains to be seen. Tune in next week. All right, that was your European Minute. Whew. We are going fast today, boys and girls. We're on it. Whew. I need to breathe. Breathe. Don't tell me to breathe. You'll bring me a shot. Sorry, that's a TikTok. Okay, NCAA football. In the most obvious letdown spot, Michigan State loses. It's completely obvious. Beat Michigan, playing Purdue. Purdue's tough. They just didn't wake up. That sucks, especially because Michigan State was in the driver's seat. They had it all coming to them. They just needed to hang in there, and it just sucks. Just at least they beat Michigan, you know? At least you can hang your hat on that. You still maybe get the Rose Bowl this year, especially if you maybe lose to just Ohio State. I think Ohio State is just such a wagon. I think they're going to start really turning it up now. I bet Ohio State beats Michigan by 90 this year. Just sucks. As a Michigan State guy, I just sucks. A thing that obviously I didn't watch much of the games this weekend because I was at the Arkansas game, which was, by the way, a hoot and a half. Arkansas, you'll see in the vlog coming up this week. The Arkansas fans are super nice. We went to a tailgate that was also a baby shower, which was kind of weird, but it was awesome at the same time. Arkansas fans were so nice. They were so welcoming, and the game was amazing. It was electric. It was everything and more that I thought it was going to be and more. And, man, Arkansas team's got a good team. This is about as good as they're ever going to get, though, I think, for Arkansas fans. I love Arkansas. I love the state. I love the city. Dixon Street's as good as it gets. I love Dixon Street. I love the fans. But that was an electric game, but that was as good as it's ever going to get. Be honest with you. Speaking about the SEC, Alabama, I love Coach O. I love Coach O more than any coach in the NCAA. But Alabama should have won that game by about 95 points. And for them to only win by 6 shows me that everybody's inkling that Bama's weak this year is very on point. Very on point. It is. And I just think it's a one-horse race. It's clearly just a one-horse race, and it's Georgia. I mean, Georgia's defense is as good. I was talking about it the other day. I think Georgia's defense is as good as LSU's offense was when Joe Burrow was the quarterback. That's how good of a defense I think Georgia has. I think they're going to have all 11 guys getting drafted in the NFL. I think they are just going to be absolutely insane. And I think they're going to win every game by 50, not because of their offense, just because how good their defense is. And they set it up perfectly. So I would feel, if I'm a Georgia fan, especially since Alabama's kind of down this year, kind of like when Alabama and LSU, when Alabama was sort of down because of injuries for LSU, I think it's kind of the very similar thing. I think it's eerily similar. All right. One more thing before I hit to the top 4. I've got Arkansas hat. I've got a Michigan State t-shirt. But I want to say this before Michigan loses out. As a Nebraska fan, they just hired on Scott Frost for the next year. Okay. But you come to me because I'm Detroit Pierce and I talk about Michigan sports and I get it. Okay. But Michigan fans, look, if Jim Harbaugh loses to Ohio State, right, and let's say he loses by 50, here's why you need to keep Jim Harbaugh, and this is why I think Nebraska is keeping Scott Frost, and I'm going to be 100% honest. It's because the coaching pool is extremely weak this year. I think Luke Fickell is a great coach. I just don't think he'll leave Cincinnati unless he gets $1 billion. I think Matt Campbell is obviously slightly overrated. And then after that, other than maybe Deion Sanders, what do you got? I think that's why Scott Frost got hired on for another year, and I think that's why Michigan's going to keep Jim Harbaugh, even if he loses by 100 million points to Ohio State. It's just not a good coaching pool. The only other name that I can possibly think of outside of Deion Sanders, Luke Fickell, and Matt Campbell, maybe Jim Leonhard from Wisconsin, the defensive coordinator. But outside of that, it's genuinely who are you going to get? Who are you going to get? There's just nobody out there. Go get Brady Joke again. There's just nobody out there. So I think that's why Nebraska signed on Scott Frost, and I think that's why Jim Harbaugh is going to keep his job no matter what happens against Ohio State. No matter what happens. There's just no great options, especially for Michigan. All right, college football top 4. I've been an anti-Cincinnati guy for a while now. I don't like Cincinnati. I don't think Cincinnati is a top 4 team, but it's getting tougher and tougher every single week, and I think it's going to get tougher and tougher every single week for the college football poll, right? And I think they clearly stated last week that, hey, look, you're not making it. You're not. They told Cincinnati, screw you. You're not making it. And I didn't say they were wrong. So here's my top 4. I'm actually going to give you my top 6, okay? 1, Georgia. 2, I think you still got to go with Alabama. 3, Oregon. 4, Ohio State. 5, Oklahoma. 6, I guess Cincinnati. I guess Cincinnati. Cincinnati will be my 6. But if you sitting around saying that Cincinnati deserves to be in the top 4, you're sorely mistaken, my good friend. You are going to be sorely mistaken. They do not deserve to be in the top 4. They do not. I'm sorry, but you can't. It's just going to be really frustrating when the Pac-12 champion is a one-loss Oregon team and Cincinnati gets in as an undefeated team and Cincinnati gets beaten out by 50. And it's going to be, and by the way, it's going to be the inverse too. When Georgia plays Oregon and Oregon gets beat by 50, it's going to be the inverse as well. Everybody's going to be upset about Cincinnati. It's like, well, Cincinnati could have lost by less than 50, right? But it's just like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? All right, so that's my top 6. That is my top 6. But this morning when you're listening, Tuesday, November 9th, the start of college. I've got my Michigan State college basketball t-shirt on, all right? College basketball starting. And I love college basketball, right? NCAA starts tonight. Michigan State, big game. Look, I've got 2 takes for you. 1, I'm going to pick my national champion. 2, the Big Ten truly, I've been trying to figure out the Big Ten. The Big Ten truly has 12 teams in their conference who are truly telling themselves and have a legitimate point, in my opinion, maybe even 13. They all have a legitimate take that, hey, I think we can make the tournament this year. There may be 13 teams in the Big Ten this year who are telling themselves as a fan base, a coaching staff, everybody but Minnesota is legitimately saying, and they have a legitimate take, in my opinion, that they can make the tournament this year. The only other team that people are like, oh, maybe not, Penn State in Nebraska. And let me tell you something. As a Husker, Nebraska is a legitimate team. 13 teams are sitting around telling themselves they can make the tournament. It's going to be hard to make that Big Ten. It's going to be hard to win the Big Ten. And that's why I think this year, I know I'm biased, but I think the Big Ten will have the national champion this year. And I think it's going to be one of these two teams. And it's going to be completely biased. Completely biased. It's going to be Illinois or Michigan State. Completely biased. I understand you're like sitting there, oh, Pierce, what about Gonzaga? What about Gonzaga? They got the skinny kid who's 7 feet tall and can shoot. Oh, Pierce, what about Michigan? Juwan Howard can't coach. Oh, Pierce, what about UCLA? Flash in the pan. Michigan State or Illinois will win the national championship this year. Give me both those teams. Give it to me. I'm serious. I love both of them. I understand that Illinois got rid of Io left for the NBA. I think that helps them addition by subtraction, and I think Michigan State just reloads. I think they're going to be great. You obviously always can have faith in Tom Izzo. Give me both of them. I'm not saying they win the Big Ten, but when they get to the tournament, I think they're going to be really strong, and I think they can both win the national championship. Lock that in, baby. I'm buying both those tickets, Michigan State and Illinois this year. Really. Genuinely. All right, second to last topic, MLB. Again, shout out to the MLB. Snaps for MLB. Coming out with their awards on Monday Night Football. The marketing team, there's, what's going on Wednesday night? Oh, I don't know. Maction. That we can't compete with those guys. Let's come out with all of our awards on Monday night. Oh, perfect. Thanks. One big takeaway as a Tigers fan is the fact that A.J. Hinch was not even in the top 3 for Manager of the Year. But the Tigers were the worst team in baseball. And he made them into the 3rd best team in the AL Central. Granted, the AL Central stinks, blah, 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 blah. But for him not even to be nominated? Hinch didn't even get nominated? Not top 3? He's not the top 3 best AL manager last year? Really? Yeah, I find that surprising. I do. I find that very surprising. And then, obviously, day 1 of the Tigers offseason, they make the trade right away. Tucker coming in at catcher solidifies that position, and now we only need 4 more pieces. And, I call my dad. You guys I've been even asked to bring him back on the podcast. We probably will bring him on soon. I get a bring from my dad, and I'm like, and he's, he never is all, he's a huge Tigers fan. I'll give him that. But whenever I call him, he's like, Pierce, you're crazy. The Tigers will never make the playoffs. I give him a call, and guess what? He's fully buying the Tigers making the playoffs next year or making a run. Even my father. Pierce, if we get Carlos Correa and maybe one more pitcher, and maybe one more bat, just a small bat, maybe we can make the playoffs next year. What? And he's not wrong. Carlos Correa, Corey Seager, maybe a bat. Justin Verlander looked good today. Then all of a sudden, weak AL Central, you're around. And that's all you can ask for. Next year, all you can ask for is 85 to 90 wins, and 90 wins is just like a miracle. But I also said that about this year. 90 wins would be a miracle. But we could do it. That's what's important. All right, last topic of the night, UFC. I'm obviously a huge UFC fan. Went 2 for 3 on my picks. Missed the Rose fight. I thought Rose really didn't win the first fight, but she won last night. Good for her. She's obviously the champ. Gaethje's the real deal. I just don't think Gaethje can beat Dustin Poirier. I think Poirier on December 10th is going to kill Oliveira, and I think Poirier is going to beat Gaethje, and I think Poirier will be done for his career. Usman, I like Usman. I kind of roll my eyes at him sometimes because it's like he's just so corny. But, dude, Usman is so gosh darn good. He's so good. He is. Usman's as good as it gets. He's pound for pound the best fighter right now in the world. I just don't know what he's going to do next. Hearing whispers about him fighting Canelo, that's a bad idea. Canelo's just going to tear him up. But pound for pound the best UFC fighter in the world right now. He's probably really bored, to be honest with you. I'd be bored if I was him too. He's beating everybody and just taking the laps. He's just taking laps around that welterweight. But yeah, he's one of the best of all time. Pound for pound the best fighter right now. Clearly, I'll be interested to see what he does next. But Justin Gaethje, I think he's a little bit more interesting. I think Gaethje's going to definitely get the title fight. I think Poirier's going to be Oliveira. I think it's going to be Poirier and Gaethje probably around March. And that'll be a fun fight. But I believe in my man's Poirier. All right, final thoughts. I've been doing this bit on Twitter for the past couple weeks on Jackson Mahomes, on how much I love Jackson Mahomes. Sometimes when a creator talks about how they get bullied online, I just sit there and I'm like, you're kind of full of it. Jackson Mahomes gets legit hate. I didn't realize, because I just tweet out a couple of Jackson Mahomes posts. I'll just tweet out a TikTok, get up, it's game day. And dude, the hate Jackson Mahomes gets, that I get secondhand from Jackson Mahomes, is freaking hilarious. It is. I had no idea how much people hated Jackson Mahomes. I thought I was the only one that hated Jackson Mahomes, and then I started tweeting out his videos as kind of like a joke. Bro, I'm addicted to to the comments that he gets on my profile. I'll tweet out a video about Jackson Mahomes, and people who have no affiliation to me, who are on the other side of the world, is like, oh, he's such a pussy. I hate Jackson Mahomes. Excuse me, sir. I was getting DMs like, stop tweeting. Sir, do you realize what you're doing? You're just throwing fuel on the fire. Hold on. I'm going to do it impromptu Jackson Mahomes TikTok. I'm going to pick you up in a cat. Hold on. Hold on. He does this. I'm going to pick you up in a Cadillac like a gentleman. Break it. I mean, Jackson Mahomes is a superstar. Patrick Mahomes is lucky to have a brother like that. Lock that in, baby. I love Jackson Mahomes. And the comments, keep them coming. As the Jackson Mahomes defender, keep him coming. He's a star. He's the next coming up. He should do Dancing with the Stars. If I'm Jackson Mahomes' PR team, Dancing with the Stars. He'll kill it. It's amazing. All right, that's been another Detroit Pierce podcast. A little housekeeping. Look for the Arkansas vlog coming up later this week. And I'll be in Auburn next week. Look for that vlog coming up. Same time next week for the podcast, Monday night, Tuesday morning release. Thank you guys so much. God bless. Go Detroit Sports.